The views and opinions expressed by guests on the TWBC podcast are solely those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the views of, nor constitute an endorsement by the host, TWBC, or the advertisers.
National championships, Confederation championships, World championships, major professional events. For over 3 decades, he has been there for many of the sport's greatest moments. And now he brings you even closer to the movers and shakers in the world of high-echelon tournament water skiing. From the founder and creator of the Water Ski Broadcasting Company comes the TWBC Podcast. And now here's your host, Tony Lightfoot.
And yes, that is the aforementioned me, Tony Lightfoot, here for the TWBC Podcast. This is the next episode. Good to have you on board. And great to have a real special guest join in on this particular episode. He is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Chris Parrish. How are you doing?
I am doing great, even after a long flight today. I feel awesome. Just took a ski ride, so I'm awake now.
Good.
And so excited to be back. I did not make last year because I had COVID.
Okay.
So
you actually had COVID?
I did.
Wow.
And here I am.
Okay, so, over the last few years, you've been skiing professionally since what, like the mid 90s, early mid 90s?
Exactly.
Okay, and so you've been in this game for a while, and I kind of get the sense that over the last few years you've taken a more relaxed stance, going into pro events and stuff like that, and your approaches into practice tend to be a little bit more lighthearted than they were way back in the day. Was there a kind of an epiphany one day that you said to yourself, I just got to take a step back here from all the seriousness and just enjoy more about what I'm doing out there?
Yeah, it's actually a great question, and the answer is definitely yes. And we all have mentors in life and big brothers and good friends, and one of my really big brothers is Wade Cox, and we actually had a really long discussion about this, and we kind of both just agreed and talked about keeping it simple, having fun, and not trying to go out there and win a tournament. I'm at a different time in my career right now where I've done so much, and I'm happy. I'm at peace with what I achieved, and definitely a lot more lighter approach for sure.
Yeah, certainly. It was years and years ago. I go back to the days where I was announcing the Pro Tour, and you were like the young buck coming through and pointing out some great scores, and and placing high on these Pro Tour stops. But you kind of just had that steely focus. You were having fun, but you were very much within this tight cocoon, this ball. And Lord knows that. God forgive anyone that got within that bubble, because they were in for a time and a half.
Yeah, I totally hear you too, and it's really interesting too how you get older in life. It's like the little things that you really appreciate, like family time and being with your parents or your friends and doing other things. It's like now skiing's not everything, and I'm really at peace with that.
Okay, and so and with that piece, seems to be more consistent performances from you. I just saw you go out there and just like run back to back 39s. I think wasn't that back to 39s or an attempt at 41? And those look like relatively straightforward kind of stuff. Is that kind of technique and that kind of approach to it something that you actively work on, or is it something that's a byproduct of your new, more mellow attitude to the sport?
No, I've actually been, I ski with Will Asher and John Travers quite a bit, and I've definitely been working on my technique this year a lot, just putting myself in the right body position in certain places, and I'm loving my new ski this year. That's kind of given me some confidence, and I've just been putting the time in with my training, and I got some great training partners as well, and I Thank you for the nice compliment, Tony. I've been feeling pretty good.
Not a problem at all. And the ski to which you are referring to is the Omega Max, isn't it?
Yes.
From Syndicate. And I mean, you're in your 40s. I mean, and you're in an age where, I mean in any sport, I mean, once you get to a certain point, the calls from potential sponsors and potential supporters, you know, aren't coming to you as often as they should. But it seems that Dave Wingerter and co and the good people that train under the Syndicate banner, you know, are actively seeking you to contribute to the team and to see greater performances from yourself.
Yeah, 100%. They are in my corner big time, and they've had my back, and I love being a part of the brand, and I've had a blast, you know, doing a lot of R&D for the Omega Max the last couple of years, and it's been awesome.
So who does that ski actually suit? I mean, obviously it suits you right down to the ground because you had a contributing factor into its design. But when it goes out into the marketplace and you see them populating the shelves in pro shops and that kind of stuff, like, I don't know, like Bennett's Boat and Ski or Performance Ski and Surf and all those places, what kind of skier would reach for that ski and say, okay, this is the one for me?
Yes, so the Omega Max is made so it's a high riding ski. It's a high riding ski, but it actually feels deep in the water. It's a wide ski. I mean, the widest point on that ski is 7 inches.
Wow.
It's got the bevel design. It's not a deep concave, so it's really made for, I would say, the big dog guys, the high end skiers that ski, you know, under 36. And then maybe some of the big 36 guys like myself.
Okay. So the bigger you are or the slower speed you go, this ski is the one for them.
Yeah, we wanted to design a ski that's efficient with ZO. I mean, that was kind of the real platform is...
And ZO is zero-based scoring?
No, zero off.
Zero off, yeah
exactly.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that was kind of the goal is like the way that system reacts, we got to have a ski that's super balanced, turns hard, but not turning hard deep in the water to create load early. It's to be really efficient and light, and I love that ski. I mean, this year it surprised me on how well it's been feeling.
So it's kind of safe to say it's kind of rejuvenated you to a certain extent.
100%.
All right. So you mentioned family. Your mother, Debbie Parish, has been an integral part of your development, and Mike Parish, who formerly worked for NASA. And we had between yourself, we had conversations about airplanes and aerospace and all that kind of stuff. But he probably more than anyone else probably contributed the most towards your development as an athlete on the water. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, my dad and I were best friends, and we still ski a lot together. And he was definitely the huge contributor and part of, building that foundation and all that time that we spent together, since I was a little kid.
And we mentioned briefly about his career in NASA just a few moments ago. How many opportunities? How much of an opportunity did you get to see, like under the surface, about what goes on with the shuttle program and all of that?
I've been very blessed and lucky. A lot of astronauts actually do water ski, so they do come to the house. And then with my dad being a supervisor for the Endeavor, I got to go out there on the last launch to the launch pad. Basically be under the space shuttle before it took off. Got to go up to the top. Didn't go too far inside, but to be a part of that little small group to see the space shuttle on the launch pad was incredible.
Well, I bet. It's just one of those once in a lifetime experiences. I kind of wish I I had that opportunity. I even wished I would have gone on Concorde. Wished I would have gone on a 747. It's just one of those moments that you kind of got to grasp. But anyways.
Well, Tony, on that note too, I'd like to get you out to my parents' house because my dad has a NASA room
Wow.
I didn't get to tell you about earlier, and it is really, really cool. We've got everything from patches, signed patches, photos from space that have been taken, just different pieces of like space shuttle tile and all kinds of really cool stuff. I think you'd really like it.
Yeah, I'll definitely section off some time before the start of next season, certainly, or maybe towards the end of this season, because coming up is the World Championships, which brings me to my next question. Now, you and the World Championships at the elite level, not the easiest of histories to talk about.
No. And the very first one did not start off well. I had my my handle disqualified in Colombia because of the bar. The triangle was too big. So I guess the actual triangle was, I guess they said.
So that was 1997.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was in Medellin, Colombia. So, and then you got disqualified for that. Then what happened with the subsequent World Championships after 97? 99 was in Milano.
Yep.
Okay, so what happened there?
I broke the World Championship record. I was top seed in the finals, and I got second.
Okay.
So that wasn't too bad.
No, well, you got a medal out of that, yeah, sure.
So that was good.
So that must have boosted your confidence going into the 2001 season, which was supposed to be in Spain but moved to Richeto.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened there?
So was that the one with the stadium, right?
No. The one
Okay.
with the stadium was 1999. It's the one that Christy Overton Johnson won. Okay, but the one afterwards was at the Italian National Water Ski Training Center in Richeto.
Okay. So the one that had the stadium,
Yeah.
I had my gates pulled at 35.
Ugh.
And it was Mike Morgan's last time on the U.S. team. We both had our gates pulled. That was that one.
Wow.
But Richeto is the one actually where I did really well.
Okay, so that's 2001.
Mm-hmm.
So you got second there. Now 2003, Swiss.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened there?
You know, that was the one that everybody was having so much trouble on the starts at 41. I mean, even Mapple did. Remember that?
Yeah,
And
I
then-
think I did. Yeah.
And I remember like Jamie going toward that dock. He got like lean lock, and then I crashed terribly out of one ball going to two ball at 41. And then it just took what did Jeff get, Tony, to win?
I think I don't know whether he got halfway down 41, but I mean, like Jeff Rogers was only just persuaded to go in those championships just barely days before it started.
Yeah.
You know, and that was probably one of the better decisions he's ever made in his career.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that was my enduring memory of that one. Now, what about China?
Oh, disaster. Jamie went right before me. He totally bombed, and I went right after him, completely bombed. And that was 05, right?
Yeah, that was 05.
And that was actually my best season ever. I'd won the most majors. I broke 2 world records that year.
Wow.
It's just, I don't know what it is. The world's has not been really, in my favor too much for the world championships.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to even mention this. The most enduring memory of the World Championships in respect to you was 2013,
Mm-hmm.
where you were coming back at, what was it, 38 off or something like that, and you blew the tail
Yep.
on 3 ball. You needed at least 4 to make it through, and you blew the tail.
Was that Chile?
That was Chile.
Oh,
yeah.
it was horrible. Oh, I know. I was skiing on Maple skis, and I remember seeing how bummed Andy was and Dina, and I was like, oh, I felt terrible. I skied so bad, and I was bummed.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've skied in how many World Championships now? You've since what was it?
Columbia.
Columbia 1997. So I mean, you've skied in a fair few of them now. So, all right. So we're in the World Championship year 2021. I mean, it's going to be challenging. I mean, it's going to be challenging for a lot of people just to make it. But
I agree.
is there anything in your mind that would suggest that the World Championships this time around is going to work out differently?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think, number one, it's kind of, I ski there a lot.
Uh-huh. With Team Syndicate, of
with
course.
Team Syndicate, yeah. And I as of right now, as we speak, I'm confident, and I feel my skiing progressing, each week. And I agree with you. I think the scores are going to be, if the conditions are good, I think the scores will be off the charts this year, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean that's a man-made facility. I mean, everything about that is going to be absolutely tip-top.
Yes,
certainly. I'm just trying to think of the next potential questioning on here, because I mean you've skied in all these world championships. You've been disappointed on a number of occasions. You've probably got one or two medals out of that deal. And I basically ask you if it's going to be different. And I mean you gave the answer to that question, but it. I mean, does that come in time in your mind where you say, okay, well, the World Championships just ain't for me. I mean, and just decide come October, November, let the young guys have their fun, and I'll just stick around and watch them duke it out.
Yeah, I mean, I've had those feelings. Definitely right now, the way my season's going and how I'm feeling and some personal goals that I'm setting. I mean, I would love to go to the Worlds and have a great prelim and a great final. I'm not saying go out there and go try to win the thing. I mean, that would be absolutely amazing, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
But I do want to go there and ski well.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a dry eye in the house, I will tell you, if you come through and placed in the top three, I'll tell you.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it certainly would be. So, other goals that you have in life. I mean, obviously, you've had your highs, had your lows. You've broken world records. You've done pretty much everything, almost everything within the sport. But what goals do you seek beyond the realm of water skiing that you want to try? Is there anything you wanted to try, like skydiving or anything like that?
Actually, yes, I'd love to go skydiving. That's actually on my bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say, possibly career-wise, I'd like to, go back to it again and try it again. Is to be in the real estate business. My mom's been a lakefront specialist for 30 years now. Mm-hmm. So I think that would be a great, avenue for me.
Yeah,
because there's so many skiers that want to buy houses,
buy homes. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a possibility. And that's all I know right now.
Okay. Well, that's good. Well, we'll round off the interview right here. You've got goals, you've got ambitions, and stuff like that going forwards. And I'd certainly appreciate your candor in answering some of those somewhat difficult questions going down memory lane. But I asked you a question in regards to your family, and obviously very, very instrumental in them being involved in your career. But what about some of the other folks that you want to possibly give thanks to?
Oh, for sure. I mean, definitely my wife Kayla. She has been in my corner, a supporter before we even married. I mean, she's been by my side and been just such an awesome wife and person. I love being with her, and we have our own little world together. She's not an athlete. We just have our own little cool little deal going on. Mm-hmm. I just got some good friends in my circle, and they know who they are, and I really appreciate them. And I have a few personal sponsors as well that help support me along the way. Because, like you said earlier, at my age right now, I don't have those huge sponsors that I used to have, and I'm fine with that, and I'm at peace with that, and I understand it's a business, and that's fine, and life is good.
Excellent stuff. Well, you've been listening to Chris Parrish. My name is Tony Lightfoot. This has been the latest episode of the TWBC Podcast. And until next time, I will say ciao for now. Say goodbye to good folks.
Thank you, Tony.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the TWBC Podcast. Be sure to check out our website at waterskibroadcasting.com. Links to our presence on major social media platforms can be found there, as well as updates to our webcast and this podcast. Duplication or rebroadcasting of this broadcast without written consent of TWBC is prohibited. Subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform and be sure to join us next time for the next edition of the TWBC Podcast.